Alright, hello everybody, Resonance here, and today my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers all voted for me to play, by far, my favorite game universe, and one of my most favorite game franchises of all time, the Ace Attorney series. I highly encourage you to stick around through the whole stream or video, as this case is by far the most interesting first case in any Ace Attorney game, and it should really have you at the edge of your seat. Ace Attorney games are visual novels and logic puzzles, which I will narrate, so don't worry. And in these games, you play as a lawyer, and you have to engage in battles of logic. Essentially, a witness will present a testimony to you, and then you have to find the contradictions within it based off the evidence that you've been provided. But it can be quite tricky, and the cases are so well written that it's an absolute must-watch and must-play series. Thank you so much in advance for supporting the channel by leaving a like and a comment, as the more support my variety of content gets, the more AoE2 content I will do. And also, trust me, stick around and you'll be pleasantly surprised. YouTube did recently change their policy, so I actually don't get ad revenue for my videos under 1,000 views sometimes, so hopefully this turns out to be pretty popular. I'm going to do my best here, so let's start Turnabout Trump. Check out this intro. Now, when I actually have a chance to read the text at my own pace, this is when I will attempt to voice act it. But yes, welcome to the wonderful world of Ace Attorney. Now, this is not my favorite game in the series, but this is the perfect introduction case to the franchise for any newcomer who has ever heard of Phoenix Wright but hasn't played any of the games. If this is as entertaining as I hope it will be, then I'd love to cover my actual favorite games in the franchise. Emma Sky has been my avatar on Steam and Discord for like 3+ years for a reason, after all. And if I ever do another case, it'll probably be an iconic one next before anything else, and then maybe something from my current profile picture, if anyone knows what that game is from. And without further ado, let us begin. I hope you all enjoyed the interesting little intro. Again, no spoilers, especially in the comments or in the Twitch chat. McKay already noticed the full house, and I would like all of you to try and solve this case with me. Of course, without any spoilers. And yes, literally lobby simulator. We're in a lobby right now, so panicked. Palms sweaty. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial. And it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain raspy quality to your screech. Never did it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out. And of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him, no way! And here's our defendant. Oh yeah. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Our defendant is Phoenix Wright. Whoa! Good, morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So you're... Fine, I'm fine! Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend. So why... You'll see. Huh? You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time. Shall we? Yes, sir. Tipkey says Hobo Phoenix. Now, this is what makes this so good. How did we get here to Hobo Phoenix? And again, initially I didn't appreciate this game as much, but it has one of the best first cases in any of them by far, and the character development is excellent. So, Robsy says he seems pretty shifty to me, probably did it. You mean Phoenix? Well, you'll see. But there are an infinite amount of twists in every Ace Attorney game. Okay, I need to focus. First trial. Here comes justice! Now, it is hard for me to actually do a good job of voice acting all of this on the fly with no takes and not knowing what the actual dialogue is prior to it being said, but I'm doing my best, and hopefully that's entertaining itself. The court is now in session. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. God, I love his hair in this game. So great. So you go to the court record, right? You go to profiles. We can see all the characters present in this case. We've got Kristoph Gavin. He is the boss at Gavin Law Offices. He's your boss. He's a first-rate defense attorney and your trusted mentor in this game. This is actually Phoenix Wright, Apollo's first client. The victim is Shoddy Smith, a traveler, only recently back in country. And the prosecutor is Winston Payne, who, God, I love Winston Payne so much as a character, and I'm glad they brought him back for this. Makes me feel right at home. The prosecuting attorney, for all his experience, he certainly lacks a certain presence, but he does have a shrill voice. I'll go over the evidence soon, don't worry. If anyone has any questions, let me know. And again, if you actually know the case, or you've played the game, and you say anything, please don't ruin it for everyone else. I will instantly ban you. But I am very interested in people's theories. Keep in mind that from this list of people, these are not all the characters present in this case, by the way. There are many more of them, and you yourself are also a relevant character, so. The defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor, but I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn? Why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel? I wouldn't be so quick to trust... I mean, like, to find Gavin, I guess, untrustworthy. I feel like he hasn't really given any indication of that. And we haven't seen any of the witnesses yet. So, I wouldn't be so quick to judge. Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. The judge is great. This is a truly unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution be as so kind to explain the charges, Mr. Payne? To think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Ah, Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see. Ahem. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bull Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head, smack, killed him cold. A customer at a restaurant, you say? And the defendant? You say he was... The pianist for the club, it seems. Mr. Wright, a pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice. It's actually wine. Nintendo of America, good lord. It's a bottle of wine. Come on. Enough of the hamburgers. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. Again, implying that Phoenix Wright's life, ever since the incident that we will get into happened, has gone real downhill. Not grape juice, obviously. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Henry the Fortunate says Winston looks like my pervy science teacher. So deadly bottle added to the court record. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record. Right. I've heard of that. Use the court record button to use the court record button to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. So, let's take a look at some of the evidence that we have so far. We've got our attorney's badge, which is basically irrelevant. We got Smith's autopsy reports. This is how he died. The time of death was around 2 a.m., April 17th, and death was caused by a single blow to the forehead. This is important for the rest of you in chat to just keep in mind of the evidence that we have. Crime Photo 1. The sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. Check the check button for details. So this is the picture of the defendant at his time of the discovery of the body. And that is the weapon that killed him, which is the wine bottle. And then we have the deadly bottle. This is the grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon. And it bears the defendant, Mr. Wright's fingerprints. But why? That is the question. Right, court record button. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. A traveler? According to his passport, he'd been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to the country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant? That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime. If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing? That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least, not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second! Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself! Indeed. It appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal. And an alcoholic. Objection! It was true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of wits. A silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again? The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present. And impress women. You tell him, Mr. Payne. Bring it on! Bring it on! That will be our first order of business here, then. To find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. And now, the game begins. A Battle of Wits. So this is Phoenix Wright's testimony that he's going to give us, and he's going to give it to us once, and then the second time, I have to pick out the contradiction in his testimony based off the evidence that we have, because in almost every testimony, but not all of them, there is a lie. But there's not always a lie, and you do get punished for actually calling out lies that aren't actually lies, so you have to be very careful. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and in the competition room, there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano? Better than a defense attorney who can't defend. Damn, that's a sick bird, Mr. Payne. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. So that was Mr. Payne's voice. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. God, I love this theme song. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. Must be my own asthma. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times, though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher in the course of cross-examination? No thanks. No need for help here, sir. I think I've got this one covered. I think you'd better do more than you think. You know it, or you do not. I'm fine. The cords of steel are ready for battle. My weapons. Press and present. Find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is the cross-examination. Learn it, know it, and do it. Inconsistencies? Lies? Phoenix Wright? As if Phoenix Wright would never lie, it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Still a little sick, so it's going to be difficult to get through this. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. Yeah, it's... Kristoph's voice is going to be a little bit of Pegasus in there. Well, I'm going to press him on this statement. You do actually get penalized later in some cases for pressing on statements that you don't have to, which I like. I wish they would punish you more frequently for doing that, but this is obviously a statement that I have to press him on. It makes absolutely no sense, and he needs to give me more information. You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes when when customers demand it. So I play them one song. That's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for the world at large. Then why are you really at the Borscht Bull Club? My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. Really would like to know why he'd get into that. They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional after all. Bah, do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine. Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. Oh my goodness, that is a sick burn. Good lord. Someone get this man a burn ale. What? I've played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost. Once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Hey! Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. But body language in this game is very, very important. And again, you notice things how he's not making eye contact when he says this stuff. So I want you all to pay very close attention to how every single witness behaves and character, because this is one hell of a wild ride. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once? Is that even possible? The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? It is quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bull Club used to be a gathering spot for the black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past, things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. But again, look at his reaction. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. A smoky room, gambling hoods, Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be a good idea for keeping a lookout, but little else. I think he's referring to the window up here. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, I've come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. That's sketchy as hell. That was really sketchy. Mr. Wright is definitely hiding something. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. So you're wondering why I'm pressing him on everything? It's because when I heard his testimony the first time, I didn't notice any contradictions. So I'm trying to squeeze some more information out of him. Generally speaking, if you press a witness on a questionable statement, they usually add more to their testimony, unless they're really hiding something, which he seems to be. 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there's some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor, each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we use 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. So this is very significant to note for those of you in the chats. Welcome, Mod300! SMV says professional cheater, probably. Thank you all for keeping the chat active, by the way. Pleasure to have you all. As I recall, in poker you can make 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. See, again, he's just, so sketch. I mean, basically, I haven't played this game since 2007, but so I don't remember everything about this case, except that I know that it is paced extremely well and is full of twists that you wouldn't believe, and this is some sketch testimony. A game of hands. This competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right! It was a simple game after all. Again, your job is to prove Phoenix Wright innocent, but in the wise words of the judge, are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment that crime occurred. Yet you claim no connection to the crime? Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Ooh. Ex-lawyer knows the rules. Very nice. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. Completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure. Why not? Very well. The defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. Super sketch. God, look at this guy. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. How could this happen to Phoenix Wright? That's why I picked this case. Now, originally when I played the game, I wasn't very happy with his characterization, but the character development that they go through in the game is beyond this, and in this one is actually really good. And even in this case too, it's really well done. And, you know, initially, I didn't think they could impress me, but they did. So Phoenix is like, I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say, I never touched the murder weapon. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. But, just in case things crash or something stupid happens, I'm gonna be using save state 0. Resent. He did touch the weapon, as we recall. However, I wonder if I should hesitate a little bit just to see if anyone in the chat would catch these. There we go. Yeah, John Fisk. Bingo. Thank you. It's good to see people paying attention. Yeah, if you guys spot a contradiction, then I mean, I don't want you to backseat game me, but Theorycraft. Because none of you have played the game before. And I actually don't remember all the contradictions. But, yeah, get involved. We know he touched the murder weapon, so... Phoenix Wright! Ace Attorney caught lying. What? Objection! So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This wine bottle? I refuse to call it a grape juice bottle. Good luck. Right? So I said. I'd react the same way. My face went. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Oh god, the animation is so good! Tell me that is not sprite art! One of my favorite animations, I think, in Ace Attorney history is easily Winston Payne's hair sway. Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb. What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. Duh! Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? And this objection theme is one of the best objection themes in the franchise, hands down. Even though this is my favorite game. I love this theme song. What's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove he did. Objection! Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they weren't normal fingerprints. You get him, Winston! You get him! With his just luscious new hair. It's time for Winston to turn over a new leaf and finally defeat Phoenix Wright, the washed-up pianist. Huh? But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can only be one reason for that. Yes. To brain someone with a bottle. Ah! Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see. So, Frisius asks, so why are you pressing these inconsistencies if you're trying to get him to walk free? That's a great question, and Kristoph answers it here. Kristoph is a renowned, famous lawyer, arguably the best defense attorney in town for at least the last several years. In this specific timeline, every Ace Attorney game takes place in every timeline. And as he explains, our job is to find the truth. And we believe in our client that Phoenix Wright is innocent. But in order to get to that place, we have to jump through a lot of hoops. And in this case, if we don't point out these inconsistencies, Frisius, then the prosecution will, and then we actually lose. So what we have to do is acknowledge the inconsistencies and argue why they're irrelevant. Bring the pain! Go get him, Pain! Thank you, everybody. Defendant! Can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Why are you so sketch, Phoenix Wright? I used to look up to you. But trust me, this case does not disappoint. Oh, it does not disappoint. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. Seriously, it really could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason. Objection! Objection! Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it that reported the murder to the police? Reported? Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still that... Really? Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? This is important for those of you watching to take a very important note of the diagram of the murder scene. The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant. I see. And this is the phone that made the call? That's how you can tell this game is from 2007. Oh my goodness. Right, cell phone added to the court record. So we got new evidence now. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet, he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Irk. Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being. Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about... What was it you just said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness. Ah, and the classic tension theme from the original. And so, I imagine I should split this into different parts for YouTube, so I'm not sure how many parts I should split this into, but hopefully you've enjoyed this all so far. I think that this is the perfect opportunity to end off part 1 of my Let's Play of Phoenix Wright, or Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, case number 1. Should really only be about 4 parts, I think. Yeah, this should take 4 parts. And again, I really appreciate the support. The more support this gets, the more motivation I have to produce additional AoE content, and I really need these videos to succeed, to not only grow the channel, but, you know, for my own sanity, and also to help pay the bills. So, again, thank you so much, and I'd love to know if you've found it entertaining so far. I'll be back in very, very shortly with part 2, where we get to see the prosecution's decisive witness. Really hope you've all been enjoying it so far as much as I have. We'll be right back. Homicidal Bear says, I think Palpatine's behind it all. It's treason then. So we'll be right back. John Fisk says he jumped through the window in bullet time. Well, we'll see. Stay tuned, stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. And again, thank you for your support. For those of you who are watching live, if each and every one of you can leave a like rating, that would make a colossal difference. I know that it takes a little bit of effort, but please take the time to leave a like rating and a comment. Really helps the channel out a lot if you'd like to see me not only continue doing more videos in general, but also more AoE too. Thank you, and we'll be right back. with part 2. It should be a 4-part series. You have to watch all 4 parts. Come on. Don't you want to know why Phoenix Wright's being so sketch? What happened to him? Why he's an alcoholic hobo pianist guy that's gambling potentially illegally? What's going on? So stay tuned. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll be right back.